Hi, this is Stacey of Ellis Family Farms, and where am I? This is cool. You got to see this. Okay, well, let me show you in just a minute. But you all know that I've been living in a camper for over 7.5 years now, and I've done some pretty good. I've done a lot of canning. I've done a lot of cooking over the last 7.5 years and stuff. But I got permission to can a bunch of chicken up here down at our church, and I'll show you the church here, the kitchen, and it's awesome. I love this kitchen. But so as you know, I got all those meat birds done up. I got 24 meat birds and 2 ducks processed 2 or 3 days ago, and you also know that we've had two or three freezers quit on us, and so I was going to try to learn how to can some chicken anyway, but apparently I'm going to have to can a little bit more than I had anticipated, which is fine. But my mother-in-law's house just down the hill from us, I thought, well, I'll take a bunch of chicken down to that freezer. Well, apparently my mother-in-law, before she passed, had quit paying the electricity on that house because she wasn't living there for a while, and everything in that there's no electricity, and everything in that freezer was completely ruined. The best that Tom can tell, it hadn't had electricity in 3 or 4 months, if not more. So I'm not gonna put my chickens in that freezer. I mean, he got the electricity turned back on, but I ain't clean up that freezer. He can do it. So one way or another, all my freezers are completely full, and I end up having, I can't remember how many extra chickens that I've got to do something with. And so that's why I'm down here at the kitchen, and I did some canning yesterday to learn, because I've never done chicken before, and I learned a lot. And so today maybe I can do a little bit better job and get it done. So first, let me do a quick pan of the kitchen here. This is I don't have the lights on past it, but that's out there's the fellowship hall. So we've got the tea and coffee maker and cabinets, ice maker. Oh yeah, there's a sink here. And there's a double sink over here. And look at all these cabinets. And we're going around here, and this beautiful stove with much higher BTUs than what I have in my camper. And yeah, it's awesome. And of course we got a grill, but I'm not going to mess with that today either. But yep, here's where the focus of my work is going to be today. And so let me show you. I was watching Living Traditions, and I was learning how to can from her, and of course it worked out just fine. But apparently I didn't pack my stuff enough. She did, or my birds weren't big enough or something. So she would put a thigh and a leg and a boneless breast into each of these. So this is the equivalent of 3 chickens right here. So this one had a little bit more in it, but apparently I need to pack them. Still have to pack them fuller. Okay, so that's what I learned yesterday. And another thing I learned yesterday is I have just recently started transitioning to wide mouth jars, because that's what I was needing for, well, I wanted them for fermenting things, because I'm learning how to ferment also. And because I was just transitioning, I hadn't bought a whole bunch of them or anything. So obviously you can't get them right now. I've been to Walmart several times, and then I was on Amazon yesterday, and I can't remember, like, you know, a 12-pack of largemouth jars is usually $8, maybe $12, $55. So I'm going to use the last of my wide mouth jars today, and then I'm going to go to my supply of narrow mouth or regular mouth jars, and it's just going to have to work. Okay. Now another thing too is, if I've got several canners, this is one that my mother gave me. I think it is. And yeah, because she labeled it where you can say open, where it says open and close. And I like it because it's taller. It'll still only do 1 layer of canning, and that's fine. And then Tom's aunt Annette gave me this one, and it is, what is this kind? I forget. A Miro. And I've never used them. Okay, and what's the difference? Well, on my Presto, I've got a gauge, so I can see what's going on with it. And this weight, I can kind of screw the top around a little bit, and then of course I can adjust the heat on mine to keep the poundage, you know, above 10 pounds and stuff. But this one, I had no idea how to do it, and so I had to read the book. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so here we got 5 10 and 15 pounds. And I want to do 10 pounds. I'm thinking, yeah, but how do you keep it at 10 pounds? So I read the book, and it said that it's going to jiggle. It'll jiggle, you know, jiggle, 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 jiggle. And it only wants it to jiggle if you've got it at the right heat. If it jiggles approximately 4 times per minute. So that's what I'm going to be learning today, and see how that goes. All right, I've got 6 more jars. I was going to do some more, but then I remembered I wanted to give a chicken to Tom's Aunt Frankie, and then we're going to need one for tomorrow night too, and actually it's going to work out. So because we have the 6 jars, I'm going to go ahead and just use the one canner that I am familiar with. I don't know what's wrong with my brain lately. I can't do math or something. And these are this is what's left over. Yeah, these are a little more full. Each of them have a leg, a thigh, a breast, and a wing. And these are the backs and the meat that's attached with them too. I will save them and I will make chicken broth. I've got wonderful bones for chicken broth. So now what I'm going to do, according to the instructions, I'm going to put half a teaspoon of salt in each of these, and I just use kosher salt. So whatever you feel like doing or whatever your instructions tell you to do, I'm going to do kosher salt, and then I'm going to get these into the canner. All right, you can see the salt in there, and what I've done is I've wiped off all the jars so that these will stick this. So I got 5 of them with still the large mouth, and I've got the one regular mouth. I can't beat that. And one of these, even then, one of my chickens apparently was pretty little. That's okay. Okay, now these are all in here, and I've learned something yesterday. I had way too much water in here yesterday, and I had like all this stuff floating around. So even then, I should have shown you before I put them all in here, there was only about maybe that much water in it. So that looks like that's going to work. But I didn't want to run out of water before the end. These got to cook for an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, that's not true. It's got to be above 10 pounds for an hour and 15 minutes. So I didn't want to run out of water before then because, well, I don't know. I'm just weird that way. But looks like we're about ready to put the lid on and get started. Okay, I was wanting to show you how to put this on here, and you can tell that I did it wrong one time. I think you can see that. Well, that's the reason Mom did this, so you can tell. So we set it just a little bit off from, and then just slide it in place. It's just that easy. I don't know why I made it so hard that one time, but I did. So now we're going to get this started. Full cook. We're going to start letting that heat up. Okay. So the water's going to get going on it, and because we have such good BTUs on this stove, then it's not going to take that long. Well, not nearly as long as it used to as it does in the camper. And we're going to let it heat up. We're going to let this let me show you. I'm going to wait for the steam to start coming out of this, and you want steam to be blowing out, but pretty consistently. I believe they say for 10 minutes to get all the air and stuff out of it. And then after that, we'll put this weight on it, this one. And I'll show you at that time, but right now we're just going to wait for the water to start boiling and get up, and we'll start keeping an eye on this little release valve here. I'm really hoping you can see this. Let me see if I can find a different angle, hopefully. Yeah, maybe there you can see how much steam is coming out of it. So it's been going for a while. Let's go ahead and put the weight on it, but I always put something like well, let me show you. I use mat just in case, because that is steam coming off of there. Here we go. We got our weight on. Now it's time to keep quiet of it. I don't know what's going on. Oh, there it goes. Ooh, that was cool. Did you see it? There was steam coming out this middle thing here, and all of a sudden it popped into place. Awesome. All right, let's keep an eye on it and wait until it gets above 10 pounds, and then we'll start our timer. All right, we're creeping up there pretty quickly. It's at 6.5 pounds, so I'm definitely going to start keeping an eye on it. All right, look at that. It's already above 10. And that means, and the only way I know how to adjust this for sure is to start turning the heat down on the pot itself. You don't want to turn it down too far because then you'll get below 10 pounds. So, yep, I'm going to have to keep an eye on it until it stays at that pound at that pressure or pretty consistently, and then I won't have to watch it quite as hard. But now I've got the timer. I'm going to set it for an hour and 15 minutes. All right, we've been up above 10 pounds for 15 minutes, and it's holding pretty steady. It's still, you know, about 17 pounds, no, 12 pounds, between 12 and 13 pounds, and I'm okay with that. We just cannot let it get below 10 pounds, and I'm not having to adjust too much more, so I'm still gonna keep an eye on it, but it's looking pretty good so far. All right, we have been at an hour and 15 minutes. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off the heat. And now I'm going to take this off and let the steam go. And what that's going to do, as the steam is going, you can actually start seeing the gauge go down. Then I'm going to let the gauge go all the way down to 0 before I take the lid off. It is down to 0. I've still got a little bit of steam peeping out the top, but I think it's going to be fine. Now you just take the lid off, just the opposite of how you put it on. Slip it. Always turn the lid away from you, because if there's steam coming out, it'll be coming in your face and you'll be one unhappy camper. And then over here, especially since they have such nice countertops, I've got a cutting board with a towel on top of it. Let's see how these turned out. Well, they filled the jar more. Ooh, isn't that pretty? I just heard that one pop already. That's a good sign. Ooh, look at all the juice in that one. Wow. And I don't know if you noticed, I did not put any liquid in it. That's all chicken fat coming out, making all this juice. I left the skin on. I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. Ooh, hear that popping. And my regular mouth jar. All right, just as soon as I took the very last one out, I remembered that the lady from Living Tradition says to leave them in the water so they can cool down slowly. Well, I wasn't that smart. But wow, look at that boiling away in there. I'm going to let these sit. I'll probably come back tomorrow, because you're supposed to let them sit for like 24 hours or something without disturbing them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish cleaning up around here and head on and do some more stuff, but looks pretty good, and I like the fact that I was able to get that more full. Well, hopefully these will all seal good. I did have to discover that one of my jars from the other one didn't seal. You know what? That's just fine, because we're having nachos tonight. So that's me canning 6 more quarts of chicken, and I'm grateful, and I'm really grateful to the church that let me can them here, and I'm grateful that they let me store the chickens in the ice chest here and all that other stuff until I can get everything under control. I did have a little bit left over, but they found a spot in a corner in a freezer for me to do. See, I kept the chicken backs. I'm going to make those into broth eventually, and I usually don't can them because I do can some, but I've been doing once every week or so. I've been using my Instant Pot to make some chicken broth or whatever broth I've got. I'm working on some venison broth now, and drinking it sometimes just for breakfast, and that. Actually, it's kind of weird because it's just liquid, but it's still filling and it's nice. So that's a relief. I've got chickens all safe, and there's nothing going to go to waste. And I'm really grateful for that. So if you like this kind of thing, keep on watching, like and subscribe, and see what I'm going to do next, because you just never know. Thank you.